Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's preview stream of the West Cornwall Local. I am JD. I'm joined by Matt, my old mucker. Hello, evening, and we are joined also tonight by a very, very special guest. We have Jasper from Rivet Games on to talk about the West Cornwall Local, which is the route that Rivet Games have the route that Rivet Games have developed. Hello, Jasper.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, I'm happy to be here and super excited to show off the first bits of West Cornwall Local.
Yeah, amazing, and we know this is an anticipated route. I'm particularly excited for this route. I love Cornwall. I love the area around Cornwall, and I've stayed in Carbis Bay a few times, so I'm very excited to see what we've got here. Yeah, I mean, we will be showing you as much as we can do over the course of the evening. Please submit any questions that you have in the chat. We'll try and pick up as many as we can. We put a forum thread out this morning just to gather a few to kind of kick us off. So we've got those to set us off, but we will, of course, try and show as much as we can. We'll be doing a scenario. We're doing a service on the 150. We're going to be doing one that's on the branch route, one that's on the main line, and we're going to be doing. We're going to show you the class 37 as well over the course of the evening. So quite a lot to pack in. So with that said, shall we get things going, Matt?
Yes, absolutely. So first thing, this is a dev build. There are a couple of issues in this which are actually not. They're fixed in the latest version, but not in this version, as it hasn't been built yet. So as we come across those, I'll call them out. Nothing too major. So this is close to final build. Second thing is I am on PlayStation.
We're on PS5 tonight as well.
We are on PS5 after
conspiracy theorists rejoice.
So yeah, it's so we're on the PlayStation 5 tonight. I've been working very hard to get that working tonight, and here we are. So what have we got? So let's have a look at the journey first. So we've got the Cornish coastal journey, where you've got the introduction. You've got the introduction experience 2, which looks like the 37 stuff, and then we've got some rides up and down the line. Using the with the medals and so forth with the rest of the journey, so you get lots of introduction and so forth. Right, it looked like there's some journeys there that were blank, actually, thinking about it, so let's make sure. Can you make a note of that, JD and Jasper, so we can go check those, because we need to make sure that those are fixed. Everything I found today while I've been testing, just to say, I've passed over to the third-party team and Rivet, and it's already been fixed. So I'm kind of not too fussed. The fact that they're blacked out is a bug, Jason. It just means something's not set up properly on that. So we'll get that looked into.
And before we turn our face cams off, just quickly, Matt, a few people have noticed the caps. We did get sent a little merch order today. These are the official Rush Hour caps. I don't know if they're for sale, but we wanted to wear them tonight just because they looked cool for the 5 seconds that we're going to be on before we turn the face cams off. So should we kill the face cams and get on with it?
Right. Face cams are off. Hopefully everyone can still hear. Okay, so training. We have the route introduction, the class 150 and the class 37 tutorials. And scenarios. No, press the right button. Thank you. We've got 5 scenarios. 3 for the 150 and 2 for the 37. We'll be doing a little bit of the slow ride scenario today. Not all of it because it's an hour long. Right, and then timetable. So the 67 services. And so if we look at the 150. Hang on, 150 is 61 services, 37 is 6 services. Oh, I love me a growler. Right, class 150, you can see a range of services here, hour, 56 minutes, 40 minutes, and these will cover bits of the route either from Penzance to Truro. They go from across the branch line in the middle there, which is the St Earths and Ives bit here, which is, I think, is it the most scenic branch line in the UK, is it, Jasper, I think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's called British Riviera.
Well. It's absolutely beautiful, and hopefully we'll be. I'm looking forward to seeing that. You got Truro, Penzance, St Austell. So the line is from. I don't know if everyone remember the whole thing. That the line when it was originally announced, actually it was to Truro, but actually then a subsequent announcement. So this is confirming that it goes all the way to St Austell. So that's it. That's the services for that. Class 37. There's a range of runs up and down the line. What were the wagons that come with a pack, Jasper?
We have 2 engineering wagons, more than freight wagons. One is the Sea Cow wagon, and the other one is the Turbo T wagon. Excuse me if I mispronounce them. But yeah, we have 2.
And we'll see both
engineer
of
wagons,
those.
so
We'll be able to have a look at both of those in the 37 scenario.
sounds great.
Right.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's just get ourselves into a service. Let's go for a bit of summer with weather. Go for a bit of light cloud. Class 150, and I'm going to do 2 Alpha 05, which is St. Earth, St. Ives. So let's do
And you know what? Just a random point there. The day that we are doing this is the day before I was born.
Oh,
There you go.
So
Everybody get
there
your
we go.
birthday presents ready, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here we are. We are kicking things off. Should we do a little bit of a tour of the loco to begin with?
Yeah. So this is the 150. You want to just talk us through it as we go round, Jasper?
sure, can do. Yeah, so that's the class 152 in regional railways livery, as you can see. And we have obviously two cars there, one with the bathroom and one without. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? Yeah, that's the cab, and interesting. This is a cool mechanism because you can close up the cab and the, I don't know what it's a guard area or something like that for people to walk through them when you got 2 units coupled behind each other. So yeah, if you close that door and the other one, you can let them walk through that, which I think is a cool mechanism. Never seen that before.
It's a bit like this. There's a slightly more modern version of that on the Electrostars in London Commuter. There's the same principle of doing a corridor connection between 2 units.
Yeah, true.
Right.
We've heard a few comments on the sounds already. Worth pointing out that these are obviously new sounds, but they are from AP as well. So they are new sounds. Hopefully we'll get to hear it in action as well. But these are all kind of sourced from Armstrong Powerhouse.
And updated after we showed them first on the walk around preview. So that was a heavy work in progress.
Let's get the doors open. So when I close the doors, actually, is one example of one of the issues that is resolved and is still present on this build, and that's that the hustle alarm happens at the wrong time. It happens when the doors are closed.
Yeah, but that's already fixed. Yeah.
Players are asking, can we change the PIS board on the front of the EMU?
You can
Yes.
up here. Yeah, you use this. So we're actually not going to Penzance. We are going to
St. Ives.
St. Ives.
St. Ives.
Yeah, St. Ives. That's it.
With our 7 wives.
There we
Right.
go.
There you go. Okay, let's get going then.
Maybe an interesting fact about the branch line we're about to run. We don't have AWS on that line, just because there are basically no signals other than the semaphore right in the beginning. That's something I didn't know. So, yeah.
That's a good little fact. There are a couple of people that were mentioning the PIS boards at the stations as well. It's worth pointing that out now, I think, before we get too much further in that the PIS boards at the stations, I believe they're blank, aren't they, for the time being? That's not a limitation from the Rivet side of things. That's something that we need to do from an engineering team at Dovetail to try and help facilitate that, so that then we can sort out kind of the older, because obviously set in the 90s, the older PIS system.
Yeah, it's quite different from the one you used to see on like the London commuter route or even the German ones. So yeah, there's a bit of work required.
Is the game loud enough? The way that I've turned it round is it set the volume up, folks, when Jasper and Jamie are talking.
Too loud, actually, apparently.
Okay.
And Matt, you're quiet.
I'm always quiet. Everyone tells me I'm very quiet.
That's a lie, and you know it is. So Jasper, I mean, I guess my kind of opening gambit question for these kinds of things is what were the most enjoyable things to make about this particular route, or kind of that you've got in terms of feedback from the team at Rivet? What were the kind of the most enjoyable things to put together for this particular route?
Definitely the countryside, just because it's such a beautiful landscape, with Penzance being right at the sea, and then we have the branch line we're actually driving on, and we'll soon see the sea as well. Plus we spent quite a little bit of time on these water animations. We'll see them later, and I think they just add up to the immersion, and they look great. Especially on the next gen systems, and then we had like quite a few scenic viaducts along the route, which are great to see. So yeah, it's definitely the beaches and the area right at the beaches, including St. Ives and Penzance. They were the most fun ones.
Yeah, absolutely. If you sort of dotting between my questions and chat questions. So why did we set this in the 90s?
That's actually a licensing question, because we couldn't get the license we would need to have, and I thought it would be an interesting experiment to set this back into that period of time, and especially the choice of trains was one of the factors why we say, okay, we want to do this, just because it's something very unique. And yeah, I mean, there were a few older routes done before as well. So yeah, that's why we chose it. Yeah.
Nice one. And as you can see, Matt is putting the posters and the route maps down. You can also see the collectibles on this route.
When do I get my Rivet Games suitcase?
We're currently out of stock, I guess.
So you got some ice creams there. You got some suitcases. You got some route maps, and you've got some nice posters.
Poster, exactly. These are the collectibles.
I've stolen all the collectibles on this station.
I love the suitcases. The suitcases are so cool. Yeah, I want one.
Yeah, and they just add up to the immersion of the time in the 90s. So yeah, I think they look quite cool, as well as the we'll see them in Penzance later. There are these yellow little lorries. Yeah, just these details that let you feel as if you were in the 90s.
Yeah, I recognise these little push carts. I know when I first saw this route, I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Reminds me of the scenes in Harry Potter. The scenes at platform 9 3/4 of Harry Potter.
Yeah, looks a lot like that. Yeah.
Carbis Bay. Everyone wave to JD.
Carbis Bay. Everyone, yeah. I'm really excited for this. I mean, I have seen it before, but this is my favourite part. So I'm hoping that everybody else likes it as well. But obviously, scenery is something that we really should talk about. You mentioned Jasper previously. Also, that was kind of one of the most enjoyable and challenging things to do with this particular route. And obviously, when we talk about something like Arosa, for instance, it was something that was perhaps not the best received in terms of particularly long distance scenery. So I suppose my question to you is, what have you guys done this time around differently? What have you learned from the Arosa process, and what will players expect, or what will players see in this that kind of is a difference from the Arosa project?
There definitely is a difference. I mean, Arosa was quite a hard one to do because of the viewing distance, and as we said before, with Arosa we set the focus simply wrong. Just spent more details in the near train area and on the train model itself. But on the other hand, it has to run on different systems, and even the weaker ones like the Xbox and the old PlayStation. So these are just limiting factors. We changed the approach this time, and even the techniques have developed further, and we spent a little bit less. Well, that's not quite right. we changed the way how we place things and the amount, and you can do quite a bit of optimization with working on tiles and making sure that you've got your budget on tiles and not overspend it. So yeah, this is the main thing we changed. I mean, Train Sim World is an absolutely great looking game. The thing that we'll probably see are popping LODs at some point. That's far in the distance, but that's something we need to do to make it run nice and smooth.
Yeah, absolutely, and kind of panelled into that. I know when we showed the first screenshots of the route a couple of weeks ago, there was in particular, I think, one thing that everybody pointed out, and that was the sand colour. And I'm pleased to announce tonight, you've probably seen it already from the initial shots, the sand colour has been changed and retextured, and I think it looks pretty good right now, to be honest with you. So well done, guys, and on taking on that feedback and kind of bringing it, I think, more, making it obviously more realistic than it was before.
Yeah, and we not only changed the sand colour, but we also did quite a bit of work to the sand to make it look natural, just to have one plain colour, but to have little variations in the sand, which just adds up to the immersion, makes it look nicer in general. So there was quite a bit done to it.
Yeah, because in real life, you look over some of these and you think you can be on tropical beaches in the Mediterranean, because it looks kind of so the sand is kind of, I won't say white, but it's very, very light, and as I say, the sea does get very blue as well. So it's I think you've done a pretty good job with that, actually, in considering perhaps what it was beforehand, which I think everyone agreed perhaps wasn't the best representation of sand we've ever seen.
Yeah, no, that's a lot better now. And actually, looking at the real images from St. Ives, it's on my bucket list now. It looks so amazing.
Can confirm. So one of my favourite places in the world. So it's a really lovely place. And I mean, very stereotypical. The pasties are lovely.
They will try that. Yeah.
The random train fan asked, what's the speed limit on this route?
That's about 60, 70 miles per hour. 60, 70, something like that. Yeah.
Paul Claros is Dawlish in this route along with the seawall. I think Dawlish is in Devon. I think, as far as I'm aware, this is a Cornwall route, so I don't think Dawlish will be included. It
goes as far as St Austell. It doesn't go to Dawlish.
Yeah.
We'll do some sound
about
stuff
PIS
afterwards.
again, and PIS is just up here, which I can't easily do without the HUD on. So let's take the HUD. That's better. Now I can see what I'm doing. So you can customize the HUD however you want.
Yeah. You can literally choose any station.
Yeah. Livery designer compatibility. I believe that's a standard feature, isn't it? But all good. Cool. Alexander says, nice passenger number without the rush hour system. That's a good point, actually, in terms of passengers. I'd noticed that there was quite a few, and quite a few on the train as well, actually, which is a nice feature.
Just good to see this on live.
I was going to ask, I have lots and lots of different things to talk about. Oh, just a couple of other bits and pieces. The route itself is 44 miles, and obviously we've talked about the main line and the branch line. We have 5 scenarios. We talked about the services already, and you get the 152 in regional Railways livery and the 37.5 in Rail Freight Grey livery. We'll do the 37 in a second, but as I say, we're coming up to St Ives soon, so we're gonna, I won't say keep quiet, but this is the best bit.
Yeah, really excited to see this one.
0.6. I can ask another question before we get to that point. So one of the things that I think there was a little bit of not confusion, but I think we took a while to confirm the rolling stock for the locals and the rolling stock for this route. And one of the things that I know players have talked about is HST, not on this route. Is that something that was a conscious decision that was made? Why was that decision made that we weren't going to do HST on this route, as it stands anyway?
Whoa, that's a tough one, and probably not the best I can answer, but I'll try my best. We've gone for the Class 150 because we had reference images for it, and obviously we had a source where we can get the sound files from, which is quite an important point when developing a train or when deciding what train you'll develop. And HST would have meant that we have like a train going fast and not stopping many times. So in terms of gameplay, I think the Class 150 is the better decision, because you stop so frequently and you have time to look around and enjoy the scenery. And on the other hand, the HST wouldn't drive down the branch that we are on right now. And I think that would be a shame to have the route without the St. Ives branch.
It's important to remember also that you can't just reskin the HST that's in Great Western, because that's the wrong kind of HST.
True.
A whole
True.
cab needs to be rebuilt to go back into this thing, and a completely new sound set, because at this point they were running with Valenta engines, which there's no comparison between the MTUs and the Valentas. So it's actually a really big job to do the HST, and this isn't the route that justifies it. This is a route. The 150 suits this route perfectly because you're stopping at the different stations.
Yeah, it brings that commuter character to life, and I think the HST would have only stopped in Truro and St. Austell, if that's right. So yeah, would be more like rushing through.
And it would be a shame to miss this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jasper, you might want to pass this on to the team as well.
Yeah. That's already on our list.
That's already done. Good. See, I told you, folks.
It's not done.
Okay.
We improved it, but it's on the list, and there's some more work to do here.
All right.
Yeah, and one of the things again, Jasper, that when we've done routes in the past, that I know sort of comments have come up about aftercare on routes and making sure that things are kind of in a good spot once we've left them. Oh, we've just got a trophy. So what's the kind of aftercare plan for this particular route? And I suppose obviously this is a stream about this particular route, but it's probably worth talking about Rosa as well, because I know that there are things that are going on behind the scenes there. So let's start with the Rosa quickly. What's the aftercare plan looking like for a Rosa?
We already have one, or we had one update that's been released, and we've been working on a second one, and there are little minor fixes to it, and of course the elephant in the room, the timetable update. That has been done now. We had a little bit of challenge with that, going back and forth between Dovetail and Rivet, and then the engine upgrade to 4.26 broke it again. But it's now fixed. It should be on the testing, or in testing, from next week, I believe. So this update is definitely coming, and we'll give you an exact release date once we know it for sure. Speaking about aftercare in general, we can't, just because we are a smaller developer team, we can't do a dedicated team to improve routes after they've been released. But that doesn't mean that we won't care, or we won't update routes once they've launched just because they launched. It's absolutely not like that. And you've seen this on all our products that have been released until today. We had updates if there was something wrong, something broken. And of course we'll continue this, and it's the same with this route. As Matt already mentioned, we're on a build that isn't the day one patch. So there are a few updates already included. And even though I can't promise another update for this right now, but if there's something clearly broken or needs to be fixed, we'll of course publish an update for that.
Yeah, it's important to talk about day one patch as well, because I know that that's kind of been in the forefront, particularly after the London commuter launch a couple of weeks ago. So what day one patch is essentially we have certification, which is when we need to go to the various different platforms. We need to submit a build for that, which then gets approved. And then the day one patch is basically everything that we can cram in between the time when the certification gets agreed to the launch of the content, and the patch will launch at the same time as the release. So it will just mean that, as I say, there will be things in perhaps the builds that we might show tonight that will not necessarily be that will be changed for the release on next Thursday. I forgot to mention it's out next Thursday. It is out next Thursday, so should have probably started the stream with that. Sorry everyone, but it will be out next Thursday, so that's very good.
Only 6 days to go. Yeah.
Only 6 days to go. Yeah. Okay, sorry, Matt. What can you run us through what we're currently doing? We got a little bit lost in that question.
No, it's fine. No, we finished our run up the branch line. We're now sitting in Penzance. Hello, ice cream. The reason all these achievements are coming up, by the way, the trophies, is because this is literally a brand new account I've set up. So, so we've now just driven in some Penzance. What? I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Into Penzance, and we are just changing ends. I'm going to just get the AWS on while we're here.
Actually, on that note, the AWS and the TWPS are linked. TPWS, thank you. Are linked together. So, if you turn them on, they're both on.
Cool. Red Leader asks, is the PS4 or the PS5 version? This is PS5 tonight. We're on
PS5.
PS5.
Right, I think we're all good. Brakes coming off. Oh, hang on. We need to set this up to Truro.
Cool. Can we, when we've got an appropriate moment, Matt, can we hear the horn, please?
Mm-hmm.
When we get going. My classic, I can't actually hear this, but I'm hoping that we can do it. And,
maybe worth just hopping over to the beach and having a look at the waves.
I feel like Jasper's egging us to go over to the waves. He wants to tell us something.
Let's go and have
just because that was a nice little detail we added to this route. We can't go closer. Okay. Maybe zoom in. Yeah.
You mean the coastal edge?
Yeah, exactly. So you can see the little bit of foam we added to the sea, and the sea is now moving up and down, and the foam is moving along the coast, which is a nice little detail we added. Just to make it to give it that coastal feel, and that's what I wanted to show.
I think you've done a really good job with the water. Actually, I know that was one of the things that I think when we were discussing was probably going to be one of the bigger challenges this particular route, and I think that looks pretty good. I think if and I know, as I say, we've obviously done Isle of Wight beforehand as well. You guys have done Isle of Wight. I think this feels like a big step up, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Rob Powell asked this at Michael's Mountain. It is. And I've seen it, so I know it's there, and we'll be going past that quite shortly, I think.
Sounds being a tad quiet. I've got the volume turned down so you can hear us. I've got them turned down quite a long way, so this can be very loud.
Question about the water. Will we kind of retrofit it onto any other routes? I mean, Isle of Wight is the suggestion, but any other kind of coastal routes that we choose to do in the future? I don't want to speak for you, Jasper, but I think when we talk about things like retrofitting back onto previous routes, it tends to be something that perhaps either the preservation crew might pick up in the future, but as part of this release, we don't have any current plans to put the that sea into, or that texturing into something like Isle of Wight. Doesn't mean to say we won't ever do it, but it's not something that for the time being we've got on the roadmap. There we go, bingo cards out, everyone. It's not on the roadmap.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not planned.
We gave them that one for free.
Sorry everyone. I'm just trying to keep you all interested. Get those dobbers out. There we go, St Michael's Mount in the background over there. for those of you who don't know what St Michael's Mount is, it's kind of a, I want to say like a, I don't want to say castle, but it's kind of like a dwelling, like a big dwelling on a kind of an island, like a tidal island, where there's a causeway, like a tidal causeway that comes across. So at high tide you can't cross, and you have to basically there's only a very limited time each day you can go over there and visit it, and then the tide comes out and you can see the causeway and you can walk over there. It's very beautiful. I think from what I can remember, this is the tied in version of St Michael's Mount, but yeah, I think it's a tied-in version.
Yeah.
I think when we were looking at this, one of the things that we mentioned, Jasper, was the kind of the draw distance for that particular area as well, and I think that might be something that when players, because obviously that's in the horizon for quite a long time, there were quite a lot of trees just popping in there, but I know that's something that you guys are aware of already.
Yeah. We're looking into that and seeing if we can do anything. But on the other hand, it's something we need to do to make this route run on any system. So yeah.
That's fine. It's a fine balance that we are we're trying to hit. A few player questions, or a few audience participation questions. Do any of these locos, or any of the things that we'll show tonight, will they layer onto other routes? I suppose is the first question.
No. Not
vice
yet.
versa.
Nothing planned yet.
Okay. And vice versa, any of the anything substitute onto this route?
No.
No. So it's kind of a self-contained route at the moment in terms of the rolling stock. Okay, cool. And
we had a discussion about that, so it might be something we chat about, but that's a big maybe with the 10 to no. So just to be very clear what we're planning.
A couple of people asking about the exhaust smoke on the unit. Is that missing on purpose, or is that a bug?
That should be there. I played it this afternoon on PC, and it definitely has smoke.
Okay, so that might be something that's in the build that I don't have.
Probably, yeah. Although that's weird. I will notice that one. Don't write it down.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to ask from the chat questions is guard panel? Question mark.
We don't have a guard panel in that train, I believe.
It's in there, but it's not interactive.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah.
One thing I was going to ask, fun question, Jasper. I know you guys like to put your stamp on each of the routes. Can we see? I'm not going to ask you where it is or what it is, but is there something for players to find on this route?
Actually, there is a little detail that's hidden in plain sight, if you want to have it that way. So that there is something to find, something to discover. But that's all I will say, just because it's a big hint.
Okay. So no gronky donkeys, but we'll have a look and see. No donkey. We'll have a look and see what we can find.
Yeah.
Does the route have rush hour passengers? I don't believe it does. Does it?
Don't think so. Don't think so. No. Wouldn't fit on that route actually. Not as well as it did on London.
Cool. Zach Chapman's asked any future Loco DLCs. Bingo cards out, not on the roadmap currently.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yep.
There is obviously mastery on this route as well.
Yeah, a pretty cool one.
I love the mastery on this route.
Yeah.
I think it's great. But again, we won't say anything about it. We'll let players find that out for themselves.
No. Might be worth mentioning that it's on the St. Ives branch.
Yes.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's a really nice detail.
Okay. Are there any? Is there a system for the request stops implemented on this route?
No.
If I remember rightly, was that on a Rosa?
That was on a Rosa, yeah. But no, it's not. I don't know if this route has it in real life. Have to pass on that question.
Yeah, and those people in the chat that are saying mastery isn't working for them, we are aware of it. We raised it with the Dovetail live team, and they're taking a look at it. I don't know quite in terms of timelines what they're looking at, but obviously we want you to be able to enjoy your mastery on there. So we'll see if we can get a fix in for you.
Just because someone on the chat is asking if there are 4-car services. No, unfortunately not.
Interesting question, Trucking Football Manager. Why did we opt not to do Falmouth? Because obviously the original route was Truro to Penzance, and then it got extended to St Austell. Was there a reason why we didn't choose Falmouth?
Yeah, that reason is basically the extension to St Austell, which we thought just made more sense in terms of having the China clay factory that for the engineering trains, and just the scenic landscapes on the branch, or not the branch, but the mainline extension, if you want to call it that way, from Truro to St Austell. That's probably the reason why we didn't choose to do the Falmouth branch.
Okay. And let's have a look. What else have I got on my list to ask? Have we? I don't know if we've seen. We've not seen the route map all the way through yet, have we? I don't think. Matt, are we able to?
Next station stop, I'll call the map up. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Functioning level crossings.
I have to pass on that one, I'm afraid. I believe we implemented them. But yeah, we'll add that later.
Okay. Are you sure? Do you want to commit to that?
Add that later in terms of adding the info if it works or if it doesn't work later.
Okay, fine. Okay, so not a guarantee of the level crossings, but
no
guarantee we'll get
guarantee
an answer
for the feature.
you.
Yeah,
we'll get an answer. Okay.
Probably not before Monday, because I just can't ring up our dev team and ask them. That would be unfair.
That's fine. It would be good to get an update on that. We'll see if we can find out for Monday.
Yeah. But we have the tag behind that one, so I think there's a chance it could be. Although there are not many. I believe there's only one in Truro. Yeah, I think that's the only one.
Cool. We're going through Hale now. Which is a nice little... I think it's a town. Hale's a nice little town. A couple of people have asked about 4-car sets. Are they be available in Scenario Planner?
I don't know for sure.
Remind me after we've done this drive and we'll go and have a look.
Okay,
perfect.
Cool. I will make a little note.
Thanks.
No worries. Someone's asked, how do your brains not explode with this constant barrage of questions? I mean, from
my brain exploded a long time ago. I'm running on I'm running on a basic automaton now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking the question, so I don't have to worry. Jasper, how about you? How does your brain not explode with this barrage of questions?
I'm perfectly fine. It's all right. I mean, most of the questions I can give a good answer to, so I think we're in a good place.
Nice.
But thanks for caring.
Map, yes. Let's go map.
Great. So that's Penzance with the Long Rock depot. And then we have St. Earth with the branch to St. Ives. And that's this one.
Okay.
And then we have the rest of the main line going up.
I was going to say, you might want to zoom out, Matt. You might be here for a while otherwise.
Yeah. That's the China clay factory.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's 40. Oh, I've got it written down
40,
somewhere.
44 miles.
44 miles. Thank
Roughly.
you. Thank you.
Traveller Raphael, where does the door chime sound after the doors have closed? That's a bug in this build, and I believe it's fixed in the one that we're testing at the moment. So they should.
Yeah.
It's what they call a hustle alarm to get people to move, hustle, and then they close the doors. So it's just the wrong way around.
But
How
that's
many?
fixed in the latest build. Sorry,
Cool.
James.
No, it's okay. Feel free to interrupt me. How many stations are we looking at for this particular route?
Yes. We have. Let me count. We have Penzance. We have St. Earth. We have Carbis Bay. We have St. Ives. We have. There's another 2 on the St. Ives branch that I can't remember. Then we have Leyland, true, and I think there's another one, isn't it?
We've just gone past Hale. I don't know if that's not
True,
on the
we
branch,
have-
is it?
No, that's not on the branch. We have, on the mainland we have Hale, Camburn. I believe it's then True. No, there's like another station. So it's around 10. Yeah, Lila Salting's true. Yeah,
Someone said 11 in the...
stations.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Memory test over. We were talking about blowing up people's brains. I feel like I might have just broken you, Jasper, so I won't ask that kind of
There we
question
go.
anymore. Red Roost,
There
that's
we
the
go.
other one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not too good at remembering the individual station names. I know the big ones. Yeah.
I was saying it's important to note as well, Jasper is coming live from Dresden as well. So obviously not from this part of the world, even this part of the country. So yeah, it's important to note that whilst I say for people like myself, obviously I've been down on holiday here a few times in my time. Jasper's obviously never been to Cornwall before, so
Not yet.
not yet.
Yeah.
On his bucket list.
Definitely. Yeah.
Cameron Young said previously it was said the China clay place wouldn't be included. Has it been included now?
It is included. I don't think that there are any services or scenarios that interact with it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Dean asked best stations who's train spotting at. I can't remember which one he was talking about there. How come there is no platform information boards on this route? We covered this at the start, Dean. So there's a particular type of technology that needs to be implemented for the PIS systems of the stations for this particular route. So it's something that we need to do. Dovetail, that is, from a technical perspective that will enable it or will allow it to be built upon. So that's something that I don't know if it's being worked on. I don't know if we plan to put those on for this particular route, but it will be something that if we develop the technology, that then we could probably retrofit it onto this further down the line.
I would love to take that offer from someone that wants to get me down to Cornwall and feed me cream teas. That sounds great.
Oh, okay. Big question for you, Jasper. Would you rather? Okay, if do you know what cream tea is? I'm guessing you know what cream tea is.
I think I know. Yeah.
Okay, so you have a scone, and you've got you put clotted cream on it and you put jam on it.
Mhm.
Which order would you put the clotted cream and the jam in? Would you put jam on first or the clotted cream on first?
This is a trick question. I can only get it wrong, I guess. I believe jam first and then the cream.
Okay, I think with me.
Or is it the wrong way?
You've got the Cornish one. You've got the Cornish one. So in Devon,
Yes.
Devon's the cream on first and then the jam, and in Cornwall it's the jam on first and then the cream.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I know that I had to
Devon
research
fry-
this on
Devon
the.
style for me.
Yeah, I'm Devon as well. Actually, it makes more sense. It's like bread and butter, butter jam.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's a
but
logic to
no.
these things.
No. I know that I had to research this for the achievement icons because we have one that is having cream and jam on a scone. So yeah, I should have known it.
I'm very impressed though. I'm impressed that you did get that one, Jasper.
I mean, it was a 50-50.
You got the right one though. People have asked, will there ever be TSW2 routes from Wales? Possibly. Not on the roadmap at the moment, but possibly. Oh dear, we've caused a bit of a war in the chat, unfortunately, about the whole jam cream situation.
It's okay. Everyone else is allowed to be wrong.
And everyone's criticised my pronunciation of scone as well, which is not great.
What is it? Scone, right?
Scone again. It's another minefield as well. So
I tell you what, put one of them in front of me, and it's scone.
Yeah.
Moments later,
I've got some scones in the freezer to defrost. So okay. Sorry, we've kind of lost track of what we're actually meant to be doing on this stream tonight. So we are going towards Camborne, and after that, I believe it's Red Ruth and then Truro.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
So we're obviously overlooking. We're going through the British countryside here at the moment. We've kind of taken away from we're not coastal anymore. I believe that's the last coastal. That's the only coastal part of the route, isn't it? Everything else is kind of countryside. So as you mentioned, the viaducts, obviously going over on now. What in terms of so we'll take away the coastal scenery for a second. What was the most kind of challenging part of the non-coastal scenery, do you think, to put together, Jasper?
The fact that you can look that long into, or that far into the distance, that was probably the biggest challenge to, as we had it earlier, to find that balance between performance and a nice look. That's been probably the most challenging thing, because you often go back and forth and try to add more and then feel like, okay, that's been too much. Then take a step back and try to improve. That was probably the biggest challenge.
Okay, cool. Nitrox asked in the chat, the 313 in this route coming out on the same day. We've not announced a release date for the 313 yet. This is coming out next Thursday, so I would say interpret that as you will.
Sorry, I've seen someone mentioning about the fact that I'm staying outside. I'm doing that specifically because you can't see much of the route if I sit in the cab all the time. So I'm trying to stay outside just so you can see more of the route.
Yeah. Someone has also asked, can we hear the sounds at the next station as it leaves without talking? We will try and be as quiet as we can so you can hear it.
But we need to do it from the outside. And I don't know if it's in that build already, but the change in the
this has the 46 change.
It has? Oh, perfect. Yeah, because that's a nice detail as well when the train changes from the fluid converter to the, I think it's straight. I don't know.
Direct drive.
Yeah, thanks. That's a nice sound thing to hear as well, because you can, hear the train changing, not changing gears, but changing its transmission. Is that right? It's the transmission, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's a diesel hydraulic.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone has pointed out the AWS made the wrong sound as we were going through. Then obviously I can't hear that.
It made the alarm, and I cancelled it immediately. So you heard the alarm go off, which was the solid tone, and when I acknowledged it, it went ping after that. So I don't know whether I should have done the ping after I acknowledged it, but that was it did sound the alarm, and I had to acknowledge it. So
okay, so that's okay.
We can check the crossing as well here.
Oh yeah.
Should already be down.
It's down, so.
Ta-da!
I think they're working.
What we'll do is we'll wait here for the train to leave, and then we'll see the gates go up, and that will be the actual proof, because they could just be modelled down. So let's prove that they go up or not.
I know that the gates in Truro are up if you spawn there on foot and there's no train coming, so
okay.
I believe they should work. Hopefully I'm not proven wrong in a sec.
Right.
We've got our checklist that we need to stay quiet moving up.
Right, let's wait for the gates now. I'll do that again, but I'll have the next camera following the train so you can hear it accelerating. There we go.
Hooray.
There we go.
Perfect.
Ah, well
Okay.
done.
That's the answer about the working crossings.
I think so. In terms of volume, obviously Matt has turned down the volume so you can hear us when we're talking. I think that there is probably a little bit of misalignment with that based on the stream today. So I don't know, Matt. Maybe if we oh,
Hang on.
have we lost you?
No, it's just technology being too clever for its own good. Come on, there you go. We're back.
There we go. I don't know if
Okay.
maybe if we want to turn the
No, this is just
what's the HDMI?
No one panic. It's just
I don't know if we wanted to turn up the volume for the next time we leave the station. We'll be quiet and we'll turn the game volume up so people can hear that.
yeah.
I think actually the noises, the sound volume is okay, or is there on the build that I played just this afternoon. So I think
Yeah.
that's okay.
Getting any game
Cool.
audio? No, we're not.
Oh, I'm not getting any visuals either. Well, talk among yourselves, everyone.
Oh.
We,
Bloomin'. Why?
Do you have another question to?
yeah.
to
Should we bring the face cams back for a little bit, Matt? So we've
Yeah,
got,
let's bring the face cams back while I fight with.
while
the,
we sort this out. Okay, you might have
Something to see.
technology.
You might have noticed the cap has also gone. It was a little bit itchy. Sorry, everyone. We'll look
You've still
into
got mine on there.
we'll look into seeing if we can get a few more of those made. So we might be able to do some competition prizes or something like that. Rob Powell's asked, "Is Truro Cathedral modelled?"
No, I think there is a generic church model there.
Okay.
We kind of arranged it and placed it so it looks like the three towers that the church has, but it's not the exact church model. Yeah.
So, boy, we're having some technical problems. Please bear with us. We will be doing our best to get back live as soon as possible.
Can everyone see and hear the game now? Or see and hear the PlayStation at least? Hopefully you can. Right.
Yeah, I believe you can.
Looks like it's good. Right.
Does that 44 miles, Jasper, include the branch line as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, joys of live streaming, joys of doing live content. Sometimes doesn't quite always plan out how we. No. Actually, we were joking before we went live actually because Matt, there's always something that goes wrong with Matt's live streams. Some kind of form of hardware always breaks, and obviously normally it happens before the stream, but this time it happened mid-stream. So there we go. You get to see it live in action this time.
So what I thought I'd do is start at the other end and come back. Actually, it was Truro we were going to, wasn't it? Let me do a Truro service so we see. Let's go from Truro back to where were we? Camborne or Hale or something.
Oh, we're at Campbell.
So let me do a.
Maybe start from St. Austell and then go to Camborne.
Yeah,
via
let's do St Austell to. Should we do St Austell to Truro, and then we'll do the. We'll
and
show
then we'll do
people the 37.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do St Austell then.
Awesome.
But don't worry, the coffee pot is away from the PS5. That's not the problem, Hentis.
There are actually two different ways that you can spawn in this station. One is just on the platform, and the other one is sitting back on a siding, and then moving forwards into the station. Yeah. Maybe actually worth showing off a little bit of the station, just because it looks pretty Mediterranean with the palm trees and the flowers and stuff. I like it.
It's very Cornwall. Very Cornwall.
Oh, the permanent porter cabin.
Oh, gold. Permanent porter cabin. Don't know if that's still there.
There's the smoke on the exhaust pipes.
Oh, yes, I just saw that actually.
There you
yeah.
go.
So it's definitely there. Yeah. And like this station has quite some history, because you can see these massive concrete car parks on both sides of the station, And the one we're looking at right now, where you can see these little stump sidings, there actually used to be a car loading with tracks going all the way, where Matt looks right now. That's been removed before the 90s, so that's why we only have these little stumps left there.
I like the little, I don't know what you call them, but like the frill things at the top of the station as well, sort of the triangular things that are pointing downwards. Those things. I don't know what you call them.
Canopies. Yeah,
Canopies, yes.
Canopies, yeah.
I like them as well.
Yeah. They look pretty good, and they look even better on the Truro station, just because you have quite a lot of them and a lovely roof texture, with all the metal and railings and stuff going on in the roof.
We weren't quiet when the train started. Don't worry, guys. We'll do it for the next station. Sorry. Can we hear the horn again, though, please?
We're actually coming to the sing. Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. You go.
Right over the horn.
Matt, you need to give us the all clear when you do the horn.
I did the horn. You guys were fine. You carry on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
all good.
Okay,
Actually,
that's
someone's
good.
asked for the guard buzzer. Let me do that real quick. There you go.
Now we're coming close to the single track section of this route. That's quite an interesting story as well, because in the time period we've set this route, we actually only have one what it's called, track from I think it's right in front of the clay silos, and then it goes all the way close to Truro, and you'll see that there's enough space for a second track, because it used to be double track, and they then removed one track and actually put it back in later on because they wanted to run more services on the route, and this was kind of the thing that held them back, because they couldn't fit more trains on this line by that point. And I believe we have to wait here until another train. Okay, it already cleared the single track section. So maybe we'll see one coming in the other direction.
Is there a way to turn the passenger lights on or off, or is that automatic?
No, you can do that by hand on there's the other train, yeah. You can do that by hand in the cab right behind you.
Oh, in here?
Yeah, on that board, left of
there's
the...
cab lights, crew lights.
Exactly, yeah.
Passenger windows open? I don't think they are they?
I don't think so. I have to try that at a station. That's us now going into the single track section. If I remember correctly. Yeah, I did.
Just double check again. How many scenarios come with this route?
5 scenarios and 2 trainings and 1 route introduction. So 5 scenarios is the answer. Yeah. 3 on the class 150 and 2 on the class 37.
Cool.
That's what I talked about before. You can see there's enough space to put in a second track on the side, and you'll see it even clearer on the viaduct. So we're about to run over.
I've got the someone's talking about the jump through that junction there at 60. I've got cab sway turned up to 200%, so that will have looked a lot more extreme than it was.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Just because someone asked what's the time from St. Austell to Penzance, it's about an hour. So 60 minutes, close to 60 minutes.
Is that an all stopper or is that a straight through?
That's a stopper.
Okay.
And yes, the fan does work, and the DRA does work as well.
The little things, eh? The little things.
Yeah. Of course. Had to do them. Is a double track in real life? I believe it's double track in real life again now. They put the second track back in the 2000s. Not too sure. Yeah, as David mentions, these trains are all stoppers, so you don't have a fast train going through.
Cool. Well, so it's an interesting discussion to have, though, about sort of the difference between, I mean, what is probably about 30 years ago now versus now, and obviously there are things within the stations that are going to be different. There are things that are going to be different within the actual locations of the towns and the villages that you go past, the scenery. So I expect it was probably quite an interesting challenge to do kind of a slightly older route with the source material available to you. Jasper, is there anything that you found particularly challenging with the source material?
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot of challenges, because we were super lucky that we had Google Earth from around the 2000s, I believe, 2001 or something like that. That was a major help, even though it's 10 years before what we modeled, after what we modeled. But that was a great help in terms of getting an idea of what the overall track layout and stuff like this was, although we then had to look up like old photographs and drawings and technical details about stations and stuff like that. So it was a particular challenge to get these information, because if just think about yourself, if you go somewhere and take photos because you want to remember that station, you don't take photos of the exact, I don't know, posters at the wall or the luggage carrier, the luggage carts or whatever, like the small details that you need to get right to give that feeling of the 90s. But this applies to every time period. So getting these details was the major challenge. And then especially in stations, I can remember that we have a discussion about St. Austell, because we weren't quite sure about the bridge, what it looked like, because it changed multiple times and it's now a completely different one, and it's a different one today. So yeah, getting all that information was a challenge, and especially on the stations. Yeah, and particularly because this route changed quite a bit over the period of time. Like I mentioned, with the track being removed and put back in later, this route had actually several depots along the route. We had a depot in Penzance, right beneath the station, which then was changed back to the Long Rock depot that's outside of the station. We had stuff like that going around all along the route, and because it happened at different time periods, we needed to make sure to have all the details correct in the time period that we were building, and not mixing things up. So yeah, that was quite a challenge, but I think we got it right.
Thank you.
Jack Amos asked a question earlier on. What was it?
Emergency brake application.
Yes. So if one happens, I will let it happen. Otherwise than that, it's straightforward. Just re-release. Once it's basically once the train is stopped, release the brakes. You have to wait 2 minutes, and then the train you'll hear the brakes then release once they're ready to go. So it's just a 2-minute wait once the train stops, and then it goes. There's nothing else you need to do.
I believe you have to.
The intro, wasn't it? That'll be part of the tutorial, I guess.
I don't think so, and I think you have to move the reverser into off, and then to forward again before you can start.
Oh, okay, I had some earlier on, and I don't remember doing that, so I was having all sorts of fun failing to acknowledge AWS, and it was straightforward to get the train going again, to be honest.
Okay, I might be wrong. I haven't tested it in particular, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definite note for Truro. Let's turn up the volume. Let's kill our talking, and let's let the loco do the talking.
Yeah.
We also did we get to the 4 car sets answer?
Oh, true. Yeah.
I don't know if we've got to that yet. So when we get to Truro or St Austell, let's take a look at that as well.
Yeah.
People are asking when it's coming out, so it will be next Thursday. Obviously, depending on which platform you're on, you might get it at a slightly different time. I don't think there's going to be... There might be a couple of quirks with how this one might work for a couple of platforms, but it will be on Thursday. Everyone should have it in their hands by sort of dinner time, UK time on Thursday.
Rob, I got your message. I will try and remember to look over the left of the viaducts into Truro. We're going to do the 37 next. A few people asked about that, but that's coming next. Not going to do a lot with the 37 because we're running a bit late on time, but we'll do a bit and you'll get a good chance to see and hear it.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is I know there are a couple of people that asked about it at night as well. I've seen it in the night, and obviously don't take my word for it, but I think it looks quite nice in the night time. I've only been in the station though, so I've not actually been on the actual tracks itself when it's on the move when it's been in the dark. So maybe that's something we can just show very briefly as to what it looks like on one of the stations in the dark as well. Someone's asked, does the EBS flag work on the 150?
Nope, that isn't working.
Okay.
I think Matt tried to pull it up earlier.
Yeah, I did. I saw the question earlier on, and I hovered the mouse over it, and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we don't have working toilets.
Oh, that's a shame. Although I think it probably would have been like, oh, okay, well, we probably should have done that first. But anyway. Are the passenger windows openable?
I still don't know. We need to try that on the next station.
Okay, passenger windows. Turn sound.
Oh, that way, yeah.
Up.
Oops. Oh yeah, okay, so you can open them.
Totally didn't just do that. No. Doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple of people have said about apparently the train also moves off too quickly after starting. That might be something to take a look at. But again, it's worth bearing in mind that some of this might be slightly different in the main build that will come to players.
I know that there was a change and that we fixed a bug where the train was just leaving way too quick. So I think that's better now.
I'm going to say what I always say, and again, get the bingo cards out. Assume that what we've got here is very minimum what you're going to be getting on Thursday, but it's likely there will be a couple of changes for the better in the meantime with the patch that's coming out with the release. Day one patch, as we're going to call them.
Yeah, and I think Matt put the reverser onto the table kind of left pretty quickly, so that might be...
Oh, I'm jamming it straight to notch 7,
Yeah, okay. I mean, the train is supposed to start off driving quite fast when accelerating at notch 7. Actually, there's that church that we spoke about earlier with the 3 towers.
So a lot of people have asked about prices. It'll be standard price for a route. I think you can wishlist it on Steam at the moment, actually, if you want to.
Yes.
If you like what you see, that should obviously give you more information about all of that kind of stuff.
Yep, nothing to add to that.
A few people liking the viaduct in the chat.
That's nice to see. They're pretty unique to Truro. It's just something you need to have when approaching Truro. Yeah, if you can open one, I think you can open all of them. I know why you want to do that, but you can.
All right, let's take a look at the passenger windows. They look open to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can we turn the game audio up as we leave, and we'll be very quiet when we leave. Which is always a challenge for me. Oh, we also wanted to check Scenario Planner as well.
We'll do that when we finish.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got the green light. No. That one. That one. Right, everyone ready?
This is killing me. Am I allowed to talk yet?
Right, let me turn the sound back down again.
Okay, so we had the
You had the gear change as well.
the gear changes. Awesome. Yeah.
It looks a little bit polarizing in the chat. To be honest, there's a few people saying there needs to be a few more revs, a bit more noise before the train actually starts. But there are a few people saying that they really like it. and that it sounds great and it sounds good. So it's quite difficult to gauge. I suppose the thing that we're looking for is accuracy, more so than anything else. And it sounds like there is there's in the chat there are people who think it sounds great and there are people that think it doesn't sound as accurate as it should do. So it's difficult to work out what is right. I mean, obviously we've used the source material to the best of our we haven't. Jasper, I imagine you've used the source material to the best of your ability. So
of course,
I think at this stage, from what I can gather, the audio is unlikely to change at this stage.
I don't think there will be any major changes. No, that's true. On the other hand, I think it's kind of difficult to judge just from watching the stream, or at least the few times, or the times, not the few times, played it quite a lot. When you're leaving a station, and that there is this engine kind of rev up before the train starts to move. Where the torque converter, just gets ready to move the torque onto the rails. So I think it's pretty decent. Yeah, obviously I won't say, I shouldn't say anything else. So. No, but I think it has the feel of moving a heavy train when starting at a station.
Could that be just down to how drivers are driving it? Because I'm fully releasing the brakes and then applying all of the power. I'm applying all of the power. I don't know what the real way of driver process would be. Let me just come to a stop, because one of the things I could see them doing potentially is pull the brake to release, put the power up, and then your engine's going to rev up while the brakes are still holding the train briefly. So you will see it rev up, and so I wonder if it's that. I must admit, it'd be interesting to hear from a 150 driver who can actually give us some. Because the one problem with watching a video is you don't actually know what the driver's doing with the levers when you watch the video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely a good point. But yeah, I would imagine that they hold on the train brake like a notch 2 or something while waiting at a station, then releasing it. No, actually they have it at notch 1. Shut up, no.
Why don't we try that again? I'll turn the sound back up. I am kind of fudging it at this point because I don't know. I'm just trying some different ideas out. But...
We appreciate it, Matt.
Brakes good, superb. I love that.
I mean, say if this experiment taught us nothing, is the brakes will sound good.
Turns the sound volume back down again. Oh, it's interesting what you're saying there about it filling as it applies the throttle, because what's happening at the moment is that the train is applying its filling when you put it in forward. So if you listen to the RPM, let me just stop the train. And the Western does it this way as well. So as soon as you actually, it's not when you put it in forward. The Western does it when you take it out of release, out of throttle 0. So let me just stop the train. So if I take it out of into off, you can hear the engines come back up. And then if I put it into into forward, you can hear the engine went down, and that's because of fuel going into it. So the oil going into the converter. So I wonder if that. If you're a 150 driver, get in touch with Rivet.
That would be amazing, yeah.
If you're a driver of anything, get in touch with all of us, because we want to talk to you. There's so much misinformation and lack of information around on the internet, and belief and myth, that the best person to answer these questions is someone who's done it for real.
Yeah. Nothing to add to that.
mean, Sam's definitely getting a forensic examination today.
Always do.
So that's good for us to, I think, try and give as much information as we possibly can. Matt's point about the way that it's being driven as well is good as well. I think it's worth bearing in mind that there are different ways there's probably a proper way of doing this where somebody who drives this every day does it slightly differently to us who are perhaps used to driving simulators, for instance. So there's something to be said for that, but it's definitely worth. We've got another live stream for this next week, so we've got one on next Thursday. So we will be, I imagine, doing another forensic examination of the sounds next week as well.
Sounds as Volatus said, sounds as half the experience. So this was worth the discussion. At least you've heard it now.
Train simulator driver. Am I officially a driver? No, I'm a second person, but I do drive. Get in touch. I think we probably need to take a look at the. I know we talked about perhaps in the latest build, the smoke being present in certain places, but it looks like it's kind of
keeps
present in
disappearing.
some places. Yeah, present in some places, present in others. So it's worth taking a look at that, maybe, Jasper.
I still have it on my list. Yeah, noticed it as well.
Mikey, we will see the 37. Yep, we'll be doing that after we've pitched up at Penzance. We've got a question from one of the mods on Discord. Do we know what file size this is likely to be? Now, I can understand if we don't necessarily know this at this point.
I would guess something around 3 to 4 gigabytes, but it could be.
Because I just downloaded the package for PS5, so I'm just going to go and have a look and see how big the PS5 package is. PS5 package is just under 3 gig, 2.5, 2.7, so it's along those lines. PS5 is going to be similar to the PC size, I imagine, so call it 3. Xbox One, PS4 are probably going to be more like 2, just under 2.
I have 7.5 gigabytes on PC, but that's on a pre-release branch, so don't know if that's fully compressed yet.
I think the reason why that question's been asked is to do with the PS5 packaging at the moment, with the root limits that we're currently seeing with PS5 in terms of sizes. So I think we'll have more information for you on that. We actually have a live stream on Tuesday, which is a rush hour Q&A or post rush hour Q&A next Tuesday, where I think it'll be Sam and Matt talking about what we've learned, all that kind of stuff around the 3 releases and what we need to work on and what we're looking at. PS5 discussion, I think, will go into that as well, and what we're doing, what we'd like to do moving forward with that. So we'll be talking about that then. But yeah, for this particular route, it's probably going to be relatively standard size, I would say.
There have been cars on the roads, Aero, but we haven't seen any recently, I don't think. But there have been some of the ones I've noticed were cars on the roads.
And the godforsaken A30 and A30A that take about 6 hours to drive along. Let me take a look at my questions on the There are some. Actually, I've not even got to the player questions that we collected from the forums yet. Let me take a look through some of these. Service patterns on the timetable. What do they look like, and how often would kind of on a regular day trains be going up and down this particular route?
I think it's every hour with a few extra trains, like this one only calling at Truro and then going straight to St. Austell. Yeah, that's the passenger trains. And then we have like a few D6 freight trains, or better call them engineer trains, because they in fact are running in the middle of that.
Okay, cool. Adrian's asked, will AI trains show their destination boards properly? There was a few questions like that as well, actually.
I believe they should. We had a bug with that one, and the driver not changing ends when reversing into a station or coming into a station and then reversing. They didn't change the lights and their position. They didn't change cabs. They didn't change the cabs. I don't know for sure if that's been fixed. I imagine it has, or I think it has been. We'll get a definite answer on that one as well, and add it later.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe when we finish, can we show the procedure for switching cabs in the 150 at the end of the route, please? That's from Luke.
We did that in the beginning of the second section, actually. We did we did a change one there. So
I was probably too busy chatting about something.
Yeah, so if you rewatch the stream for the second, so the first thing we did was run up the Snipes and Earth branch, and then the next thing we did was we ran from a siding into Penzance station, changed ends, and drove back out again. So you get that there.
Cool.
And actually, there's not. Sorry.
No, you go, Jasper. I've got a few questions from the end, but
okay. I was just add to the changing cabs. There's not much to it. You just set it into neutral, apply the brakes, and then like switch off the master controller. So there's not like entire procedure behind this. It's pretty straightforward.
Cool. I think we've answered this one already, but Matt Jamk has asked, will there be depot activity?
Yes, we have it in a few scenarios, and we have it in some of the timetable drives or services as well, where you go into the depot, and actually in the scenarios you need to refuel and wash the train. I think you can do it you can definitely do it in timetable services as well. But I don't think we have time calculated for this, so you might be late if you decide to refuel and wash the train. But you can do.
Nice. Someone's asked if there are any unique collectibles. We touched on these at the start of the stream, but there are some very lovely luggage trolleys with rivet suitcases on them, which look, I thought, pretty good. And then some ice creams as well as your route maps and your posters as well.
Yeah.
And I think we can probably see will we have plenty of setup time? I think we can see that the timetable looks quite challenging. I'm going to say it looks quite. You have to be quite on it to be able to kind of keep to it, which I think is good. Is the timetable authentic? Is it something that's research has been put into, or is it something that is more kind of computer generated?
No, I believe we made it, or we used an actual timetable from back then as a starting point, and then like kind of did modifications to make it work on the route. You might have some points where you have some extra time. Like there's at least one timetable service where you start in Penzance and you have to wait until another train comes into the station, because obviously the line is single track at the beginning and the other train blocks the line, so you have to wait there. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why you could have a little bit of extra time before leaving. Yeah.
Hentis has asked plans for China Rail trains on this route in the future, and he's put in brackets, apart from not on the roadmap yet. Not on the roadmap yet.
No.
Not on the roadmap yet. And Pilgrims asked, why is this not stopping at Redruth, Camborne, Hale and St Earth? We stopped some of those earlier. This is just going all the way through. Licky Man has asked, can we see a cold start or startup sounds, please?
We could maybe in Penzance just turn the engine off and then turn it back on.
Yep, let's do that. So in terms of top speed, this is probably as quick as it gets, isn't it? Really, in terms of speed on the route, looks like 70 mph.
70, 75, I believe, is the biggest I've seen. Yeah, not the fastest.
Joseph's asked, guys, is Paignton in this route or any other route? Paignton is in Devon, so it's not in this route. This is in Cornwall. And there is Paignton in Train Simulator, not currently, I don't believe, Mac, please correct me if I'm wrong, on TSW.
No, it's not on TSW. Paignton is in Train Simulator on the Riviera Line modern route, and also the Riviera in the 50s route.
Yep, the 50s route was the first one that I ever streamed, I think, with Jamie on my first ever stream.
Ooh. Yeah, happy for you to. I'm happy that you're taking over these geographic questions, because these are station names that I'm going, oh, did I forgot something that is on this route? No,
don't worry. I would have noticed it by this point if something were missing.
True, yeah.
Louis is not near here. Well, it's actually, Louis is kind of near here, Robert, but it's a fair bit further east than this route, than St Austell.
Yeah, and it's on the seaside as well. I was going to say, I didn't call you up on it, Matt, but I also think it's Lou rather than Louis.
Yeah, I call it Louis because, I don't know, mentally I have a problem calling it Lou.
People talk about the clackety-clack track noises, that they're absent at the moment, or they're not at least not very audible for the time being. Is that something that we would take a look at, or is it something that is not going to, well, I mean, I assume it's not going to change for release, but is it something that we might take a look at in the future?
I added it to my list because I saw that too. Yeah. Actually, don't want to say anything on that one.
We made a note.
We made a note, and we'll forward it to our developers. That's for sure. Yeah.
And I think what would be really great, Jasper, is when we've launched the route and there is feedback, or there are things that we might want to tweak or anything like that, it would be good to kind of perhaps bring you back onto a stream, or to at least to kind of have a forum thread or something like that generated with what we've seen so far from feedback and what it is that we might be changing, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That sounds great. More than happy to have all the feedback in either Dovetails or Rivet's forum. We'll be looking at both, so feel free to add your feedback wherever you want to.
Cool.
Oh, please do. It helps us all.
Absolutely. What year is this set in? It is the early 90s.
Yep.
Matthew's asked, where does this route terminate in real life? That's one I don't have the answer to.
That's going up to is it Bright? or straight to London? Paddington. Paddington. Okay.
So you'd go from Penzance up to Plymouth. Plymouth, then we'd join onto the lines in Devon, through Exeter and so forth. Then you go via Bristol, Swindon, back via Reading and into Paddington.
True credit.
I know that's not a hint of a future extension to the Paddington line.
Would be great though.
Don't you start.
No, I'm sorry.
Someone's talking about track running sounds. So the track running sounds are defined on a per route basis, but quite possibly they're copied. They're followed across from one route to the other. It's certainly something that I think some of the routes, like Manchester, has done better in the past. So Manchester and Tees, because they had a lot of the clickety clack, they felt with driving with a 101, certainly felt better. But I know what you're saying. What I'll do is I'll take it to the audio lead, sorry, and pass on that feedback.
Yeah.
So Crazy Killer's asking a question about track joints. The way that it works is track joints are separate, or they can be placed automatic. So essentially, the way it works is you can place jointed track, and then it'll place joints as you place the track, or you can or you can place it without joints. And then we have a track joint tool, so that you can go in and delete a joint and add a joint in, just individual ones. And it's all capable of doing them in different places on the left and the right rails as well, because I think in America they quite often do that. It's quite a flexible system. Six miles to go. Track run sounds are loco specific. There you go. Thank you, Ed. See, I knew Ed would be able to give me the right answer.
Sean has asked, I think we've answered this already, but what packs can be layered onto this route? Think of this route as kind of a self-sufficient route for the time being. There's nothing really that goes in. These things don't come out for the time being. At least on release anyway.
That's right.
And it's coming out on Thursday. You can, if you're on Steam, you can wish list it now if you would like to. Once we got to Penzance, we've got a few things that we want to try and show. We want to do a cold start. We want to do go to the scenario planner and see if the forecast sets are viable. And then we'll move on to the 37. We will just do a little bit on that, just so that you can see it. Are there new sounds as well?
On the Class 1
Class 37.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's
These
exciting.
are AP as well. I believe they are.
That's exciting. I suppose similar thing to beforehand. Those sounds won't also then be backdated to the other 37 as well.
That's a dovetail locomotive, so
okay.
I can't answer that question, to be honest.
One thing that's
Probably
worth clarifying,
something
whether it applies to this stock or our own stock, when we say that it's got Armstrong sounds on it, just to clarify, be specific about that, it means the source samples Armstrong has supplied, but then in this case Rivet engineers have then done all the sound engineering to put it on the loco. Armstrong does a really great job of recording the sounds, but it's the Rivet guys who have actually the team who have put the sounds onto the loco.
But that's a good point, because that is quite a major process of editing these sounds and making the engine and the scripts use it the way you would like them to do so. It's quite a big amount of work.
Yeah, a certain level of artistry, isn't there, in sort of being able to put it all together and make it work together.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the 37, I mean, we'll see it later, but we not only changed the sounds, but we changed some minor details on the loco as well. Well, not minor details, but some details on the loco. just to make it fit for that time.
Yeah. Jonathan's asked about PIS at the stations again. We mentioned this a couple of times beforehand, but in terms of the PIS, it requires technology that we don't currently have to be able to, or we haven't currently built to be able to make that function as intended. So we haven't got that currently in the roadmap to produce, so I assume they're not going to be there. But there's nothing to say that in the future, once that technology has been produced, then it might be something that we can put back on in the future. But it's not something that's currently looking likely like it's going to be there.
Really like this train. I think it looks great going through the countryside. It's just, I don't know.
150 is one of my favourite DMUs of the
Yeah,
second gens.
yeah.
I've got a really nice regional railways model of it actually, but mine's a 150/1 because it doesn't have that silly door thing in the middle.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Let's keep it that way.
It's practical.
True. Yeah.
Right, coming up 150, 2.5 miles to go. The smoke is on the issue list, Roy. It's there sometimes and not others for some reason. So Jasper's going to get the team to have a look.
Yeah.
It might well be that in the current build the build that is being shipped, and you'll see that might already be fixed. So we'll just have a look and refer back. There we go. There's St Michael's Mount again as we come into Penzance.
Maybe I need to take back the sound on the Class 37. We'll need to clarify and then go back to you again and in a statement and say if it's a new sound or if it's still the old one.
Yeah, just to clarify on that, I think we obviously mentioned beforehand 37 new sounds. I'm just going to have to double check on that.
Yeah. Just to manage expectations and yeah.
Question about Rail Driver. Will this be compatible?
I have to pass on that one. I know that we have a rail driver and I think it has been implemented.
Moggy,
on it.
Is this one Rail Driver compatible? Moggy can tell me the answer to that, because if it is, he'll know.
Okay.
He helps test them.
Awesome. Okay. I think we had a discussion internally about the rail driver, so I think it should be there.
Just before we come into Penzance, yes, what's your favourite part of the route?
The St. branch.
Okay.
Without too much thinking. Although I think Penzance as a station looks quite nice as well, being located right at the beach. It's just something, unusual. Haven't seen that too often, so I think it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice one.
And the train itself.
At Penzance. I'm loving this 150.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it turned out really well. So, yeah.
Achievements is a good question.
That was Matt Jamka, that was a fast turn. I was doing twice the speed limit. Allegedly.
Achievements, I believe on this route there is a thread on the forums which clarifies, and I will find it. Xbox will have achievements. PlayStation, this will not have achievements from what we've put on the forum thread. Now, you might have noticed that Matt was picking up some achievements earlier on in the stream, so I will double check that one. But we've been told that it doesn't have achievements.
I think the achievements I was picking up earlier on is because this is a fresh installation.
Okay, fair. So they were the generic ones, were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
There would be congratulations, you've moved a train.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I don't think that there are achievements for PlayStation on this one, either PS4 or PS5, but there should be for Xbox.
Right, let me crank the sound up while we do the startup. Right, everyone ready? There you go. Nice and quick. Oh, compressor speed up. Let's see if we can drain the main reservoir a bit. Not hearing anything with the compressor speed up.
Ed suggested that we need to be neutral for that compressor speed up.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Cool.
And there we go, there's the 150, everyone. Let's move on to the 30.
I love that, it's gorgeous.
I think it looks great in that station with the
Station
light
looks amazing.
Yeah, just very atmospheric.
And the lighting's great as well, I think.
Yeah, the light baking has worked really well in here.
Actually,
Right.
there's a video coming out about the light baking, or not just the light baking, but we'll cover the light baking in it as well tomorrow. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, watch
If
out
you've
for
not-
that on the Rivet channel.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because you guys do some really good video content, really interesting video content. If you've not checked it out already, worth looking at Rivet's YouTube channel, because there's some really interesting stuff on there, as well as also stuff that's relevant for TSW2. They talk a little bit more about how they do all the things they do and what they've got to what they've done to get to the points that they finish on. So it's really interesting stuff if you're interested.
Compressor speed up is used, let's say your main reservoir is low, like for example when you're starting the train up from cold, your main reservoir will be completely empty, and so in order to, instead of just waiting for it to pump up at its normal rate, you would probably put the compressor speed up on, it charges it much faster, and then you can put it back to normal, and then that's fine for daily use. It just means that you can get the main reservoir charged back up more quickly if you find it's on the low side. So, this is the 37. What have we done to the 37?
There have been quite a significant amount of changes from the one that we have back then. So we had very noticeable are the two horns on top. They've been not there on the version before. We had quite a lot of changes to the livery. The most noticeable are the numbers and the logos. We had a red bar on the lower side of the locomotive that's now gone, and a few more changes to the front, the lights and the numbering plates, I guess it is. and then we had a few changes in the cab as well. Yeah, just very minor changes in the cab though. The biggest one is, I believe, the what was that called? The radio, I believe it was. Yeah.
Let's change these couple of points.
Yeah.
This is asked RETB radio? Question mark.
Okay.
Region for an RETB radio, isn't it?
I think we might be asking the wrong person here.
Yeah. But I'll get you an answer on that one.
There's no RETB radio in the cab. Well, let's have a quick look, but I don't remember seeing one. There's an NRN.
I've never heard of it before, so...
RETB is, like, for example, used on the West Highland line. It's radio electronic token block signalling, which is basically... this is the NRN radio.
Mm-hmm.
And RETB is used for communication backwards and forwards with the dispatch to get permission to proceed along the line.
Is that like the digital version of the tokens that drive a...
it's literally a digital token, yeah.
Ah, okay, perfect. That makes sense then, yeah. Interesting. Didn't knew that they put this into a digital system. So that's cool. I've learned something today.
Can we have a little horn, please? A lot of happy people in the chat as well. Yeah, I think that they're from the chat saying it is, because I obviously can't hear them, but they are the same sounds as well by the looks of things.
I love this one, the sounds just massive. It's like a lot of power.
BR1, anything different in the cab Rivet? I think we kind of covered that. There are kind of minor changes. You mentioned the radio, Jasper. Other things are kind of moving a few bits around here and there.
No major changes in the code.
We've got an ask about the headlights and the markers on.
I haven't turned them on yet, no. I will do in a minute before we set off. This is the sea cow.
Yeah. This is like the last laying wang.
Hang on a minute.
Oh.
And we've got another HDMI. Hey, there we go.
Wouldn't be boring without, right?
And we're back.
I'm going to do this with the external camera so that I can show you the inside as well. There you go, look. Oh, no, we'll do it on those wagons. That'll be counter to the usefulness of the scenario.
I think you can actually empty them.
Yeah, so I'm going to show the levers.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's go and mess about with these ones. So yeah, over here you can operate. So if you look inside there, you can see this these plates inside the bottom here. And so if I come round here and open that, you can see one of those is now opened.
Yeah.
And operate that one, and the other one is opened, and that one.
And you actually have to use it in this scenario.
Yeah. Very cool. Let's get going. I need lights on, so the lights are up here. I'm going to turn the cab light on. It's not strictly prototypical, but it means we can see a bit better. And let's break off. Put it back in.
Yeah, no, I just looked it up. No changes to the cap, except for the NRN radio.
That thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's a hole in my wagon. Yeah.
What have I done wrong? I can't see chat, so someone's going to have to...
Ed said, try actually coupling, Matt.
Oh, did it not actually couple? Okay. Hey, warm up walk. There you go, we're actually coupled now. Alright, let's go outside and do some 37 sounds. I should probably ensure my train's going the right way first.
So we've done last one, this 37 layer onto TBL. Again, I think the same answer as before in that at the moment. I think this is a self-contained route. There's nothing that comes onto it, there's nothing that goes from it onto other things for the time being.
Over here, turbo.
Yes, exactly. Actually, you can open and close the doors on this one as well.
That's cool.
Just pretending was that while we were at it. We just thought it would be nice to have it as well.
Do the turbos get used in scenarios?
Yeah. We have one scenario with the Seco and one with the turbos, I think.
Do we know why it's called turbo? I can only assume it's because it's quite flat, and I'm probably getting so many people, getting so many emails. Is a turbot a flatfish?
I don't know.
I don't think a sea cow has much to do with a sea cow either, to be honest.
No.
They
not
come
really.
up with all sorts of strange names for wagons.
Maybe that's down to some engineer having a few beers too much.
Got to call it something.
That's true.
Right. Another one to do.
Maybe someone in the chat knows while it's with those names. Civil engineering wagons were always named after marine life.
There you go.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Wow, they're making
Yes,
me walk
thanks for
around
that.
for my money today.
You have to stop at that one.
We should add these to the workout week, Matt.
I know.
In the dovetail.
I wonder if they
the
buy
dovetail
that.
chat.
Walked 800 miles in Train Sim World.
Matt, you don't have to walk to that one,
Do
right?
you not? Oh. Oh, I
don't
see.
think so.
That's a stop at inspection. I was
Yeah.
getting carried away. I was just going to walk up the rest of the route. What? You
Well,
want to
that
see
would
the
be quite
37? What? Oh, okay. Someone said earlier on that, of course, a real driver wouldn't generally be getting out and operating their own switches, and it's quite correct. But we don't have anyone else to come and do the switches for you, so you get to do it.
You get to take on those miles.
Have we had a reply on the
turbot thing? No idea. Apparently, it is a flatfish, but
no. On the rail driver. I'm sorry. Okay, you have just...
rail driver. Moggy said that he didn't actually test this one with rail
Did
driver.
he not? Let me down, Moggy. Let me down. Seriously.
Okay. Oh, I get that.
We'll have to find out. We'll have to find that one out for you guys.
Yeah. Looks like we have to get you a forum post or something like that on Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, it'd be good to just do a little bit of follow-up with any of the kind of outstanding bits and pieces that we might have to kind of cover tonight. Obviously, we will touch on them next week as well. We've got a stream next Thursday, but...
Yep.
Of course, what's also really cool is the livery editor. The 37 is now in the livery editor, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been added to that as well as the engineer wagons.
Oh, it says they're called turbits because they were low-sided. Ah, so it might be right. It might be right then.
100 points to you.
Yes. I mean, it could be a load of old Cosmo, but I mean, I'm going to take that and I'm going to roll with it.
That'll be in a quiz
just
coming up in the future at some random point.
Yeah, you better tune in for the next pub quiz, guys. That's going to be one of the questions. Or try and get Turbot in there somewhere. Then there'll be like the in joke that everybody who watched this stream will know about.
That'd be amazing. I think you reverse after that one.
good feel of what the route's all about, shown all of the locos, covered quite a lot of the ground of the route, and left a couple of surprises for people to find out themselves if they're interested. So, should we call it a night there, everyone?
I think we should.
Yeah. Okay. Let's call it a night there then. I've just got some few little admin bits before we finish. This is out.
May I interrupt you again?
Yeah,
there
go
was
for
the question about the 4-car
oh
thing
yes,
in
yes,
the,
scenario, yes, scenario
in
planner.
the scenario planner. If you want to have a look at that real quick.
Well remembered, Jasper.
Well done.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there.
Tools, scenario planner, add. I'm going to give it my normal name, which is usually something along those lines. Add that.
I think we should call it Turbot, to be honest, but there we go.
It'd be all night if I have to try and type something on that keyboard. Go from Hail, confirm, to Penzance, to Stop Us on Earth, why not? Confirm, 150, 2, 3. The 4 doesn't start in this platform, but there are 4 units there.
Okay, so
yeah,
the
singles,
answer is
doubles,
yes.
triples, and quads.
Yeah.
Full house.
True. I should have remembered because I did the localization on this one. Just while I was looking at it, I was thinking, oh yeah, I've seen that before. Okay, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm not wearing my cap. Sorry, everyone. I will wear the cap to finish with. Be on brand and all that. There we go. Sorted. I can't really hear now, but that's fine. Thank you. Thank you very much, Matt, for being our driver tonight. Much appreciated, and for obviously being able to chime in with lots of interesting and useful questions and clarifications. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jasper, for joining us. Really, really great to have you on again, and thank you for answering all of our questions, coming armed with loads and loads of answers as well. If there's anything we weren't able to cover tonight, we'll try and make sure we either cover it next Thursday, or we put together something that's a bit more comprehensive for you to take a look at after the weekend. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in at home. This is coming out on Thursday, so that's very exciting. If you're on Steam, you can wish list it now. All you have to do is search for West Cornwall in Steam and it should come up for you. Other than that, Railfan TV next week, we have a post-rush hour Q&A, which will be with Sam and Matt. From a Train Sim World perspective, we will be doing a Let's Play of this route on Thursday, and we'll also be doing a first viewing of the much anticipated 313, which will be, I'm sure, very, very well viewed this time next Friday. So thank you very much for everyone for watching. Hope you all have a lovely evening, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
All
Bye-bye.
right, thanks for having me. Cheers. Bye.